Ladies and gentlemen, in good academic tradition, we always start 15 minutes after we announce that we would start. So let us start with today's graduation ceremony at the ISS. I was about to welcome the Excellency of the Embassy of the Republic of Tanzania, but she hasn't arrived yet. So if in a few minutes from now you will see somebody hurled in, that is Her Excellency, the Honorable Irene Kasinjau, Ambassador of the Republic of Tanzania. Ladies and gentlemen, other representatives of embassies and countries, friends and colleagues of ISS, but most especially dear students, a very heartfelt and warm welcome. First, a practical request. Could you please set your mobile phone devices or whatever you brought with you in such a mode that we will not be alarmed in the next 2 hours by strange noises which will all frighten us. Welcome to this. That's not a strange noise. That is a very welcome noise. Welcome to the 63rd graduation ceremony of the MA program in Development Studies at the International Institute of Social Studies. My name is Freek Schiphorst and I'm the Deputy Rector for Academic Affairs and this afternoon, your Master of Ceremony. Let me introduce those behind the table. Most of you in the hall know their faces, but this ceremony is streamed via the internet the world over, and proud fathers and proud mothers, grandmothers and grandfathers, brothers, sisters, equally proud relatives and friends, colleagues might be viewing this ceremony. Maybe in odd places, an internet cafe or an office. And most certainly at odd times. In Bogota, Colombia, it is shortly after 8 in the morning. In Beijing, China, it is shortly after 9 in the evening. And in Tokyo, even after 10. For them, these faces are new. So here we have our rector, Professor Inger Hutter. She will hand over the degrees, but only because the Board of Examiners has informed her that all the requirements were met. And so we have the chair of the Board of Examiners, Dr. Rachel Kurian, and next to her, the academic registrar, Ninkyo Smith. Dear students, welcome, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Tanzania, the Honorable Irene Kasinjau, and I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Dear students, you will receive many accolades this afternoon, and these are all well-deserved. Let me start by congratulating you for having survived. You survived the... Oh! You survived the unpredictable Dutch weather with unexpected dry spells and record-breaking wet month. Unfortunately, the negotiations at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Paris are at the moment still dragging on, without an agreement on how to handle the climate change. And today, on what should be a shiny graduation day, all that the weather gods were able to offer is a boring gray sky and unseason-like temperatures. Indeed, while we here hope that one fine day the winter will come and bring real cold temperatures, we let you go back to the warmth of your country and the warmth of your family and beloved ones. On average, you survived 10 exams and 5 essay assignments, not to mention the smaller in-class assignments. Most recent in your memory, you survived the long and arduous journey of the research paper. Congratulations. Some of you will look back at the day spent at the ISS with a sad heart, and some of you might be glad that it's all over. Recently, a student told me that now that she was going back to her work, She already received lots of paperwork to fill in, and she sighed it. For 15 months at the ISS, I did not have to deal once with this bureaucratic hassle. All of you will face a new phase in your life, a phase in which you will have to make decisions. And I'm sure that the days spent at ISS will have prepared you well for this new phase. At the ISS, we claim we sharpened your critical mind. I hope that this will serve you well in the future, and I wish you lots of success in whatever career you may want to pursue, and a little luck as well. Let me take this opportunity to thank a few members of staff without whom we could not have had this ceremony. As I already alluded to, you're only here because the Board of Examiners gave us permission to invite you. I want to thank its chair and its members, but especially its secretary, Lubna Sharwani, for their work. If I tell you that only yesterday the last examination took place, you can imagine the heat in that office. In manufacturing, this is called JIT, just in time. And apparently, manufacturing strategies are also now practiced in academia. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all staff members of the admission office, Marianne van Dieren and Eva Nos, without whom you would not even have been here in the first place. To Martin Blok, who guarded your welfare and much more throughout the past 15 months. Where is Martin? To the members of the Teaching and Learning Support Team, the TLST, for a job well done in offering support to staff and students throughout the year. I want to single out one person in particular, Bianca Yarunat, who, among lots of other things, organized this graduation ceremony with an eagle eye for detail. Thank you. Let me also mention the Policy Office in the Management Support Office, MSE, for their support and tireless efforts during the whole academic year. And you survived because Ton and Trudy in the canteen took care of you. The year will no doubt have had for all of you individually many ups and downs. But this occasion marks the final up for many. While living the year, many of you might have moaned and groaned under the weight of assessments and assignments. But now that you have come at the end of the road and looking back, many of you will admit it was over before you were even aware of it. And it only started yesterday. It started yesterday, and since then we had an active involvement of our student body, scholars. And I would like to thank the Scholars Executive, Trisa Charimana, the President, Mahardika Sajjad, the Vice President, Steve Harrison, the Secretary, and Miriam Morit. Thank you very much for your work throughout the academic year. They never failed the requests we made on them, and their contributions were very much appreciated. Scholars is also behind the presentation of the Good Teacher Award, for which I will give them the floor a little later. The most important advisory committee to me as Deputy Rector for Educational Affairs is the Teaching and Learning Committee. For their critical and constructive engagement with the learning environment of the ISS, I would like to thank its student members, Chinmay Lei, Grace Namukose, and Maria Camila Pacheco. Thank you. It started yesterday, and you might remember, with the opening of the program by Petra Stine, who brought the metaphor of a journey with many bridges you had to cross. Along, she also brought the image of the guardian saint of the travelers, Christopher. And since you will continue your journeys, after the ISS, I assume his guidance will extend way beyond your trip here at ISS. It started yesterday at the ISS when we were looking at 1,369 MA applicants and accepting 721 students. Yesterday, we started with 5 majors, accommodating 159 students. This includes the 28 Indonesian students in the double degree program, which we have with the Universitas Indonesia in Jakarta, and 2 Indonesian students in the double degree program with the Universitas Pajajaran in Bandung. 60% of you followed a specific specialization. 40% did not. And all in all, 134 students will graduate today after 15 and a half months. The remaining students received extensions, and there are a few whose research paper did not pass in this round and who will submit later. All in all, 86% of the students have been able to obtain all their credits, something that is an extraordinary high percentage in the Dutch context. You made us all proud. Thank you. We are particularly proud of all those students who have done so well, even to the extent that 3 will today receive their degree with merit and 6 with an overall distinction. Exactly. All this does me great pleasure. Congratulations. What can we expect for the rest of the afternoon? First, there will be a speech by the ISS Rector, Professor Inge Hutter, bidding you farewell. Then we will start with awarding of the degrees in the majors. First, there is Agrarian Food and Environmental Studies, including their double degree program. And then we have Human Rights, Gender and Conflict Studies, from social justice perspectives, followed by the Governance, Policy and Political Economy major. And just before the break, we have the Atlantis program and the Mundus MA program in Public Policy. The break in awarding of ceremonies, but here the break will consist of a speech. Maybe a short speech, I don't know, but a speech by Tris Chadimana, the outgoing president of Scholars, and the presentation by Scholars of the Good Teacher Award. Around 3:15, we will start awarding the degrees to the students from the major Social Policy for Development, and then last but not least, the major Economics of Development, including their double degree program. Then, and only then, I will give the floor to Dr. Sylvia Berg to read this year's jury report of the Research Paper Prize. For the final part of this ceremony, I will invite you then to go one stair up and have the reception, join us for the reception at the atrium. That's the program for this afternoon. So let us start. May I invite Professor Inge Hutter to give her farewell address.
Okay, thanks. Your Excellency, I'll start again. And dear colleagues, friends, families, and of course, students of the batch 2014-15. Freek asked me to give a farewell speech, so I do hope you have your handkerchiefs at hand. So dear students of the batch 2014-15, what a pity that I got to know you only for 4 months. You have come so familiar and so dear to me already in this very short time. And now you're leaving, soon, your certificate in your hand, back to your country, your families, friends, and back home. I do hope that all of you bring back home a suitcase, maybe more suitcases, full with stuff. With papers, books, clothes, presents, but of all that virtual suitcase, in your head and in your heart, with everything that you learned and everything that you did unlearn. Everything what you reached and achieved in our courses and in being here together. Above all, everything that you learned, shared by living here together in the ISS community, learning from each other. So most of you will be traveling home soon, coming home within your families and friends circle. You will tell long stories about all you did, all you learned, and everyone will be happy to hear at home and at work many, many, many stories to share. But what you might also face after that, and I don't want to reduce the happiness, but I do want to mention it, that maybe after some time you might realize that you indeed did change enormously in this past year, by being here. And maybe that your environment and people around you did not change so much. And maybe you already have been reflecting on that, because they might not have been changing so much, because they haven't been here, and you have been here. I experienced it myself, having lived in Cameroon and India for some time, and returning back home, and nothing looked the same. People seemed to behave differently, shops looked differently. People here in the Netherlands didn't seem to realize how privileged they are. But me, I felt changed forever for the rest of my life. I also know it from my own PhD researchers from India, who lived for longer times in the Netherlands and returned back home and also faced the same issues. Maybe less freedom, maybe less autonomy. Quite of them also indicated, why can't these people here keep time? That's what I learned in the Netherlands. Not sure whether you will say that. And of course, in due time, also these differences will change. You will observe that. You will embed yourself again in your own society. It will be nice for you to observe back home what it is. Me being an anthropologist, I'm extremely interested to hear about that, because there will be changes. Maybe also, I was thinking this morning, you will start missing your fellow batch of students. You have been so close together, and also being with such a big group and big community, you had a good strength and you had power. Now it might be that you have to do things much more on your own, and how are you going to do that? How are you going to do and take along the things that you learned? Might be nice to reflect on it and let me know, because I'm curious about it. Back to happiness, the big suitcase, the virtual suitcase, everything you learned and what you will apply in your work and in your life. And last Wednesday, I participated in the dinner for all of you, with all of you, and I was very much touched by the movie that was shown, was made by one of you, where you said, well, don't forget the love, don't forget the hope, don't forget the integrity. And I was very much moved by that. First now, a very happy afternoon, very nice evening, then coming back, first unpack the suitcases with all the stuff, and then slowly go and start unpack the virtual suitcase. Keep in touch with us, let us know how things are. Don't forget us, we won't forget you, and we will miss you. And have fun for now.
So let us now make headway and call on the students of the Agrarian, Food and Environmental Studies program, Aphis, and their convener, Mindy Schneider, to come to the fore. And no doubt, Bianca Jadonat will have told you where exactly to stand.
Hello, everyone. Sorry. Okay. Okay, hello, everyone. I'm Mindy Schneider, the convener of the Agrarian, Food and Environmental Studies major here at the ISS. And I'm going to be reading the names and introducing this small but mighty group of people over here who have all been doing research at the ISS on really some of the most pressing issues that we face in the world today. So we have RPs on climate change, on biofuels, on electronic waste, on rural livelihoods, land, food security, pretty much everything. We've done it here in Aphis. So I want to say to you directly that you've come quite a long way, and we know that it always hasn't been easy. We've asked you to constantly reassess your own assumptions about the world. We've asked you to read hundreds of pages of academic writing and to understand it. And we've asked you to do this research project. And all along the way, we've said, good, but what's your analytical framework here? And I'm not sure I'm getting the political economy out of what you've just written, and let's think about that research question again. I think we could make it a little sharper. But despite all of this, you did it. So we want to offer you our congratulations and our best wishes for the future, and gratitude for letting us be part of your journey. I'll cry. Congratulations, everyone. Okay, so I'll start now announcing the names, and you can come and get your degrees. First, we have Bedada Bieni Gppe from Ethiopia. Next, we have Giulia Simula from Italy. And we have, graduating with overall distinction, Wei Li Wu from Singapore. We have Alan Komuhangi from Uganda. We have Ejawonam Kobla Hayanyedzu Nyamadi from Ghana. Lucky Ferdinand Lumingkuas from Indonesia. Talent Trishtar Chadimana from Zimbabwe. I should say we're not supposed to be hugging. Isaac Master Matocha from Malawi. Soburu Gausu from Ghana. Mei Zuna Phyo from Myanmar. And Ruth John Magufuli from Tanzania. And I'll read the name of Heru Saputra from Indonesia. Yes? And we have 3 students who aren't able to be here. I'll read their names. Julia Sochi from Italy, Malain Hakacharan from Armenia, and Zulfadi Nasushan from Indonesia. Thank you.
And that concludes the graduation ceremony for the Aphis students. We now go to the Social Justice Perspectives program, the STP major, with Dr. Helen Hinches as the convener.
The smaller person. Smaller person.
You want to read it at the pace, slow it a bit down. So
Yes, otherwise I can't get photos done. Well, what a big group. It's like an invasion here on the right. Okay. Okay, we started this year with 38 students, and there are 27 of you graduating, and I'll explain what happened in the middle. There's 3 who are graduating at home: Immaculate Chemutai, Sudeep Singh, and Gebre Selassie Kiros Hailu. I may read their names again later, but hi, you're all at home, and I hope you're fine. On the way, we lost our innocence. We lost Innocent Ndahiro, who joined the governance program. We lost a couple of people whose family life or ill health obliged them to suspend their studies or withdraw. Finally, we have 2 part-timers, Roos van Doorn, I hope I got that name right, and Kate Orlovsky, both of whom are well on their way to completing. So next year, we hope that they'll complete. Shraddha Pandey, who's quite a dramatic character, is at this moment setting down her wings tips in Schiphol. And she may graduate later this afternoon as a special extra graduate. if she arrives before the ceremony finishes. Finally, we had a special individual member of the SJP family. I'm not sure if she's here, but we'd like to thank Mansoura for her We'd like to thank her for her warm and inspiring presence. So I'll try to be brief. You are an amazing group of people. You're brought together by your desire to study. You even left behind family, children, jobs, houses, even debts. All of you have worked with stamina, and the external examiner this year, David Roberts, said your RPs were exemplary and thought that quite a number of the very many he saw could even be published. So I'd like to encourage you to think about that in some cases. And every single one of you who completed the coursework and the RP has passed the Masters this year and on time. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So congratulations. I think I speak for all the SJP staff. That's Nachta, Jeff, Silke, Rachel, Karen, Dubravka, Case, and Amrita. When I say that we enjoyed working with you. We're also grateful to Auma, to Freek, to Wendy, to Jan Pronk, to Kristen Cheney, and to Lee for helping to supervise such a large SJP group. Special thanks to the Board of Examiners members, to Jose Hanappel, and to the whole TLST and Academic Office team who made it possible for graduation to happen at all, since the RPs were only submitted exactly 1 month ago. 1 month ago. So. You specialise not only inside the major, but also in children and youth, in poverty and in education, which is not even a specialisation. So what I hope the SJP student group agree on is that the SJP programme overall, there were many truths, many points of view. I hope you've learned with Khalil Gibran, and I won't go on and on about this because I'm not a mystic myself, but I hope you've heard with Khalil Gibran, the Lebanese mystic, to be wary of wisdom that does not weep, philosophy that does not laugh, and pride that does not bow its head before a child. How corny is that? But it's nice, right? It's what you say at a graduation. I hope you'd agree there are many doors to truth, and we hope that we've opened just a few of those doors for you, different doors to truth. And we hope that now you can be open to how different truths carry competing claims and interests. SJP aims to open doors for your mind, as Inge said, in the suitcase in your head, and we consider this diversity a strength and not a weakness. The fact that we don't all have the same perspectives, for me, is a strength. So you've been given real diversity in thinking, we hope. And we hope it's cause for satisfaction rather than alarm. Because as Khalil Gibran also said, the partition between the sage and the fool may be more slender than the spider web. Right, so I speak for all of us when I say we've been inspired by your work, your research topics. I can't mention them all because there really are so many of them, but you worked on everything from refugees to land conflicts to, I mean, the most traumatic subjects, actually. Sexual violence, the Dutch policy on Palestine. I can't go on. There's so many different topics. It was quite remarkable. Finally, I come to end this rather long little talk. Amidst your busy lives, just as Inge said already, you're going to return to home, you're going to be promoted, be reunited with your family. Please keep in touch not only with the alumni office, because we get jealous. So please keep in touch with us as well. Tell us your news. And we'll make sure people hear about it. And if you want references, can you please provide full information and give us a warning? Thank you. That's my appeal. So, so I hope you've enjoyed your time. I'm now going to hand out the, and stop blah-blahing. Okay. So, first, Nava? But I haven't finished. Nava Maria Verboom. Well done, Nava. Congratulations, darling. Well done. I've been asked to go slowly, so I'll keep you in suspense for another couple of seconds. The next candidate, someone special who managed to do a full-time job. I'm not allowed to talk about the candidates, but just in this case I will, whilst doing a full-time degree. Gada Zaidan. Well done, darling. You did so well. You did very well. Next, from Colombia. Sorry, I forgot to mention the first candidate was from Netherlands. Gada is from Palestine. and also Netherlands. From Colombia, Nazli Marcela Guerrera Turbey. From Bangladesh, our next two superstars, Shamnaz Arifin Mim. And our exemplary student rep from Bangladesh also, Sarah Tabassum. From Colombia, with an RP with distinction, Julian Bermeo. I wanted to say this all year, now just let me say this. Julian David Bermeo Osorio. And also from Colombia, Maria Angelica Nieta Uribe. You didn't recognize yourself? From Kenya, Miraj Hassan Mohammed. Well done. You should go in front of me. That was Miraji Hassan Mohammed. From Nepal, Nilima Rai. And then this is the nationality that had the most fun with us this year, with names. From Ethiopia, Shuit Gebrez Gaber Gebrehiwot. From Philippines, Ana Cristina Dinglasan. Also from Ethiopia, Kumneger Girma Geso. Sorry, that's class. That's class. Let me recompose myself. From Uganda, Grace Namukoze. Now, Grace, don't make me laugh. From Japan, Saki Hirama. Is the pace okay? From Uganda, a bit of a success story, Frederick Luboyera. From Ethiopia, Melak Mengistab Gebreselassie. And from Uganda, Daniel Opio. Someone who got married this year. Shristi Mahamuni from India. And then from Uganda, Penina Amalo Emiru. From Liberia, our own UN representative, Siata Arma Stevens. And from Zimbabwe, Jean Mukoi. Again, one of those names I love. From Colombia, Natalia Lozana Arevalo with RP distinction. Ethiopia, from Ethiopia, Jonas Berhane Berhe. From Uganda, Jacqueline Aturinda. And then with overall distinction and RP distinction, her.
Thank you. Can I have a hug? Even if it's not worth appropriate?
It's not allowed, but it's fine. Constance Lillian Patterson Dupuy. It's not a bad one as well. Okay, Zimbabwe. You are last, I think, simply because it's Z. I'm not sure. Joyce Matara, please. You've done brilliantly, my darling. We're so proud of you. Well done. Yeah. And finally, but not least at all, Veronica Michito Mudimba from Zimbabwe. Well done, darling. Well done, sweet. We may see you later for some Shraddha Pandi.
What is my... Okay, it's on. And that concludes the awarding of the degrees for the major social justice perspectives. We now continue with the major governance, policy and political economy with the conveners, Dr. Joop de Wit and Georgina Gomez.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Joop de Wit. I'm the convener of the Gppe program. I'll explain you in a minute what it stands for. But I also need to introduce first of all my fellow convener, who is Georgina Gomez. And we've been sort of managing the program very much together. So that's also why we are here today, the two of us. So I'm happy to be here. Because again, you know, we managed to work with one group of students for about 16 months, and they have been doing a very good job. And here they are, beautiful people, standing ready for doing that. So we're rejoicing and we're happy that you made it, you survived and you worked and you did more than that. But there's also a little bit that we are unhappy because this group is leaving us. Very soon you'll be back in your countries and we will not interact with you anymore. Imagine for 16 months we were with you and now suddenly you will be not here anymore. I made a speech, let's see what is all there. It's a nice group of people, but we have a majority this year of people from Asia. Many Indonesians, a very active group, and many people from India also. Some of whom have already gone back to their countries because they work for the government of India. And under that arrangement, they are here for 12 months for studying. And they return to their countries to finalize their studies in India. And they also write there their research papers. So hello to India out there. The group was not so big this year. We only had about 20 people. And 18 people who are graduating today. But Gppe is still going strong because we can say now that the group of Gppe has 30 people, so we are back into being a popular major. Our major deals with governance, policy making, and political economy. So our major is rather more, a teaching program that teaches people about the generic fields of how to make policies, how to enhance governance, how to work towards good governance. So the research papers that people have been written, they are touching, starting from that perspective, but they do all sorts of other topics, you know, as thematic areas. So just a brief indication is that we have a paper here from Innocent, who joined us a bit later, but who was successful, and he wrote about citizen participation in Rwanda. We have a paper from Indonesia about port governance and the policies to provide infrastructure in Indonesia. And we have a paper from India on the policies to address the serious problem that in India many more boys are being born than girls. So the policies were evaluated how to improve the sex ratio in India. So this is just an example of a couple of papers that people like you have been written. This group is not very outspoken, but it's a very serious group. They've been working quietly, they've been working steadily, without making any fuss or complications. They've been quietly doing their work, attending classes, writing their research papers, and seriously working along. They're very good performers, and it's also a very grateful group. In my discussions with some of you, I learned that you enjoy being in the Netherlands, that you never knew the country was so nice and so beautiful, and the people so friendly. So I think you've all been learning a lot. Finally, I want to say this, that since many of you are working in governments, and many of you are working otherwise as stakeholders, as we call it, in the field of the private sector of civil society, I wish you all successful careers, and that you can be like change agents to help improve the conditions of this world. After all, this is the Institute for Development Studies, and we hope that people who graduate here become agents of change to help improve governance, to work towards participatory models, and to help fight corruption, things like that. So I may thank my colleagues. I want to thank you to work with us on behalf of all my colleagues who are not here, some of them. And also I want to thank the people in the TLST, particularly Siska and Bianca, for being very supportive to the group. And I want to wish you all the best and keep in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I won't give a speech, I will only give you diplomas. So, Murwenda from Indonesia, congratulations. Maria Indriani, also from Indonesia. Nguyen Vinh Hien from Vietnam. Gai Yon Ho. Well done.
Hi. Thank you. Good.
Innocent Dahiro.
Right man. Thank you.
Maria Teresia Astica Roviana. Congratulations. Sangaji Budi Utomo, Indonesia. Congratulations. Selam Tekle Mariam Kifle. Congratulations. Congratulations. Cynthia Rivera Macias from Mexico. Felicitaciones. Para atrás. Raymond Tirtoadi from Congratulations. Also from Indonesia. And Cynthia Achien Godero from Kenya. Congratulations.
En moet je die andere namen nog noemen?
Yes.
I'd also like to congratulate the people that had to go back home earlier. Jagan Seb Khan from Pakistan, Uttar Muqtadir from Indonesia, Matthias Nigatubimir from Ethiopia, Rajesh Ranjan from India, Kumod Singh, also from India, Sudhir Rangappa Narayana, also from India, and the last one, also from the group of Government of India, Suresh Puri from India as well. Thank you. Congratulations to all of them watching us from India, probably. Bye.
And that concludes the awarding of the degrees for the GPPE major. May I now call on the convener of the Atlantis program and the Mundus MAP program, the Mundus MA in Public Policy, Dr. Karim Knio. And of course, the student in the Atlantis program.
Okay, hi everyone. I would like to first say a few things in relation to the Atlantis program. I would like to perhaps tell you that Atlantis is not a lost civilization, as Plato actually once told us. He completely lied. Atlantis actually is a 2-year double degree in security and development. It's actually funded by the EU Commission and the US Department of Education. Whereby the students actually finish a year of their studies at the Maxwell School at the University of Syracuse in the States. And then in the second year in Europe, they spend 6 months at the Hertie School of Governance in Berlin, and then 6 months here with us at ISS. At ISS, they specialize in the track on international political economy and development. And this year we had 9 students. From this kind of, sorry about this long introduction, but actually, given our design, actually most of our students are not here with us today. Most of them actually finished their program by July. So in that sense, maybe one of you might even, or all of you might argue, indeed, the program is a bit like the Atlantis myth. It kind of exists, but it doesn't. Nonetheless, for those who remember the cheesy song from the 80s, Atlantis is calling, Atlantis is indeed calling, and the proof is actually here. We do have an Atlantean representative. The fact that this Atlantean representative perhaps is from the Netherlands might to a large extent explain why this person has been here. But then given that this person is here, let me tell you just a few words about her. Actually, she did very well across her studies across the years, particularly well here at ISS, wrote a very interesting research paper as well. And I can tell you as well that while studying, she undertook an internship at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here, and actually she does work there now, if I'm not wrong, as a policy officer as well. Congratulations. So I am not going to give a long speech because we only have one Atlantean representative. So that's why I would like to call on Elizabeth Eemker from the Netherlands to collect her degree. Maybe just a quick note, another Atlantean program that exists but is not here at the moment is the Erasmus Mundus MAP program. This is a 2-year program in public policy. Our students do not graduate because they finished their first year at ISS. So I would like to take this very short opportunity to, first of all, to congratulate them on successfully passing the first year with flying colors, actually. And I would like to also wish them success for their studies in the second year, and perhaps maybe remind them that the best research paper for the Mundus MAP consortium needs to be won. So yeah, you need to do something about that. I'm sure you are hearing me. And also a special hello to the 3 Mundus MAP who actually joined us from York and Barcelona. Were there. Yeah, I think he deserved it. They wanted to come here and join us in this ceremony. Finally, I would like to thank my colleagues in these programs. So I would like to thank Sarah Hardus. I would like to thank Wilhout and Rosalba Ikaza, who are helping us. Well, they are members of staff in relation to these programs. And finally, just I want to congratulate the Masters in Development Studies who have accomplished their degrees today. All the best. That concludes my section.
Yeah. And that also concludes the first part of the awarding ceremony. We have a short break, but the break will be filled by a speech. And for us academic staff, most importantly, the awarding of the Good Teacher Award. And that both is organized, will be presented by scholars, the ISS Student Association. Some call it the Student Union, but that is only those who have to negotiate with scholars in management. May I call on Tris Tadamana, from the president of Scholars? And I'm nervously looking around for, yes? Trish.
So I'm really excited because I'm the break, so I get to talk for as long as I want. No, but I wrote this down to keep it as short as possible, as per instructions. So this is the speech. It still feels like yesterday when we were getting chocolates from Martin after arriving and realizing that we've just committed ourselves to rainy days, cycling, stroopwafels, and perpetual sleep deficit. And since then, we've laughed, we've cried, we've screamed, we've danced, we've cried a whole lot more. We've wondered why on earth we decided to even do this master's program. And finally today, we celebrate the end of this 15 and a half months. We've had to learn different languages. For some of us, it was Dutch, Spanish, Korean, Bahasa. But for the majority of us, we learned the language that Microsoft still doesn't recognize as English. So we've had to write things like, we have situated our subjectivities so that our positionality in decoloniality, as we problematize our subjectivities in depresentization, to co-construct these knowledges that are anti-hegemonic. And these are the papers that we asked our professors to evaluate in the space of 2 weeks. But that was amazing. So today as graduates, we still, or at least some of us are graduates. I mean, I told you Aphis was the best program. So we've graduated. I don't know about the rest of you. But today, as we are graduates, we try to navigate what it means to be graduates. And when we go to look at what we're going to do, the places we're going to go, the people that are going to be around us, and the lives that we're going to lead, it's a little bit confusing. We going through these emotions. We're sad about the people we're leaving, but excited about the life that we're going to be facing. And for most of us, we're faced with the rest of our lives, and it still feels a little bit daunting. I mean, somebody calls it adulting, and it's something we have to try. But I think ISS is the only place that could have prepared us adequately. And I think we're very, very happy to have done this MA in this particular institution out of every other institution some of us could have gone to. And it's because we've had critical discussions, both in the classrooms and the butterfly bar, and we've had discourse analysis on emails sent to us from administration. We started a social movement. We finally got Wi-Fi in Gondelstraat, and I think for those from the old batch that are watching, it's faster than the internet in Doris, so it's super amazing. But, we got a dry into Boutenham, and I know the people that haven't been through the ISS experience may not understand the value of a dry in Boutenham, but it was something we achieved together, and it's exciting. So we've managed to contribute to the continuous course evaluations at ISS and hopefully help the next batch, and maybe they'll be able to keep the bar open for a couple of more hours extra, I don't know. But But in all this, we are grateful to ISS because they provided us with a space in which we're able to communicate openly, freely, to challenge them when we needed to, but to also contribute into making ISS the place that we all envision and want it to be. And for this, we're very grateful to our rector and to the rest of the admin staff for this opportunity they've given us. And it's this engagement that the students reflected that was a reflection of that we're learning and thinking, not just in the classroom, but also in the corridors of ISS, and that everything that we've learned, we're willing to apply. But I couldn't have done it on my own. I know I'm president, but I couldn't have done it on my own. Unfortunately, I never had to. I'm grateful to the IC, to Bibi and Michael, our representative in the Institutional Council, who did an amazing job. They sifted through all the bureaucratic letters and emails and documents, and they represented us very well. I served because I had an amazing team to support me, Dika. And anybody who's worked with Dika knows she's the embodiment of the word tireless, and it's amazing. I'm grateful to Mariam, who, when the rest of us were traveling and celebrating, she was going through a whole stack of receipts that we've been hoarding for the last 15 months. And I'm grateful to her for all of the work she's done. I'm super excited. Steve is here, our Mundus Map representative, who even from Barcelona was still haunting us and stalking us and still helping us to become a better administration. So thank you, Steve. But most of all, to round up this very short speech, today we celebrate the beginning of the next phase of our lives. And as we start the next phase, we're going to look back a little bit at the last 15 and a half months. And Raymond promised me that everybody will cry at the end of this video. So, IT? Right, thank you very much to our resident director, Raymond, for that amazing video. But before we get to this super exciting moment, every class, every year, even today, our teachers keep telling us how much they loved reading our papers. If they were lying to us, I'm really, really sorry, but we believed you. And because we believed you, as is tradition every year, we publish a book of the best essays from each batch. And this is the first copy from the box that has just arrived of the best essays for 2014-2015. And I'd like to present it to the rector. So without further ado, I invite the TLC for the exciting moments. Woo!
Thank you very much. I didn't realize that the video came right before us, so I know Trish was there, but Raymond, you did bad to us. But I will still try to present what we had in mind. As Frank mentioned, we have been working through all the year, the TLC, most of the time with the ISS TLC, with the teachers, but most of the time between the three of us. It's been hard work, but we are happy that our last task was actually very fun, and was to try to hear and represent the students and choose those teachers, the best teachers for us, for our batch. It's a great moment to thank you all, not only the ones that we are happy to award, but all of us that have been present in all the process, for all your effort, for patience sometimes, and for inspiring us through all the process. Okay. So I will just quickly explain you how did we choose them this year. we changed a little bit from last year. We realized that some of our majors were not as big as others. They didn't have as much a student as others. So we took the decision, actually in a meeting with students, that it is a nice idea to give an award to one professor per major. So we decided to do that. It was 2 steps, the process. First, we gave the chance to everybody to nominate teachers from any major that they wanted, and any amount of teachers that they wanted to nominate. And second, every student had the time to vote for a teacher. And it could be any teacher from any major, but just one vote. At the end, we had 117 votes, which, yes, it's big. Hard to make people participate, but through our messages and people were excited to see some of the names of their teachers here. So we accomplished the task, and I'm happy to show the names of our teachers. Okay, I'm especially happy to announce this person from SPD. Oh, and also when people voted, we gave them the chance, or we invited them to give a small comment, a phrase about the teacher, like, why are you choosing this teacher? So here are some of the descriptions of the teachers. This SPD best teacher was described as: people said he is consistently kind and thoughtful. He is always approachable, friendly and helpful, and honest with his own limitations. He is always relaxed, but with true passion. He is a great explainer and genuinely cares students' opinions. Roy! Thank you, Roy, for everything. Okay. We continue with SJP.
I had prepared to award from Aphis, but well. In SJP, we have a professor who was lovely, inspiring, and knowledgeable, and her classes are structured well and practical, very clear and profound. She's an insightful person and someone who just simply puts it. She's amazing, and this person is... since she's not here, we request someone from the TLST office to kindly receive this on her behalf. Anyone from the TLST office, please.
SJP, so.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, well, give to the Brafka.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is way too high for me. Okay, I hope now it's fine. Okay. No, I think it's fine. So from Gppe, there's a person. People says he's the most intellectually provocative teacher, and that's actually all. Many people voted for him without any elaboration. So this unarguable good teacher from Gppe is Cream.
And we have 2 from Aphis, so I hope they're here. And the first person was voted because he's brilliant and he has a brilliant mind. His teaching is very effective. People love him. People love his amazing gestures that zip a lot of meanings. And yeah, like I said, we have 2 from Aphis, and the second person was voted because he has been touched in style and commitment to teaching, and his courses are always clear and outset. And this person is... Telesti office. Could someone from Telesti please come and receive this on behalf of...
I'm gonna put this down again. I'm really happy to present the one from ECD because a lot of people voted for him across all the majors, and many words can be used to describe this person. He's dedicated, knows how to... Don't give that sticker so early! Knows how to create interactive space for students to enjoy learning. He don't mind to sacrifice his spare time for students. Actually, he's there, but he doesn't mind to sacrifice his spare time for students. He's objective when evaluating students, but he always encourages everyone. He has great communication skills. He's an interesting person and a passionate person. I know a lot because people wrote a lot. It's not just me. He always makes sure that everyone understands his class. And some said he helped them to understand the real world. And one second. Another one said he's the best simply because his heterodox approach. I don't need to say his name, but pictures here. Yeah, so I connected him with Skype, but we can't see him, but he can hear our applause. So for over 20 years, and he has received this reward. Let's applause for him again. So here is... Sorry. So here is our 6 teachers voted by us. Okay. All right. But last but not least, let's not forget all our teaching staffs that have walked through this great journey with us. They deserve as much gratitude and applause as the list of teachers and all our administrative staffs. So a last applause for all of them, and thank you.
Well, that was a good break, wasn't it? We resume the awarding of the degrees with the major social policy for development. So may I call on one of the good teachers of the year, Roy Huismans, who is the convener of SPD, and their students.
All right. Good to see you all back after the break. It was fun. And that's an exciting group over there. So this is the SPD group, the Social Policy for Development. I have some thoughts about his name, because it sounds a bit like in the For Dummies series, huh? And you don't want that for an academic program. So let me correct that. This is a critical program, a critical engagement with policy. Huh? So we ask things like, whose policy? Policies for what? Huh? And policies by whom? So it's a critical engagement with the social. That's what you've been doing, and that led to really some fascinating research papers. Also bewildering in enormous areas that you covered. So we have research on children's participation in Indonesia. We have health insurance in the Philippines. We have research on migration questions in the Netherlands. Work on street vendors' livelihoods in Uganda. Work on gender and space in Indonesia, young mothers in Colombia, and it goes on. Huh? There's really a lot, and it's really exciting to read. Now, that about the research papers, but there's more to you. Huh? You're also people, and you're a group. So let me also say a few words about that. And that's where things get a bit more difficult. Huh? So let me try and find a starting point. That's going back to my computer, opening a file of, say, a year and a half ago. And according to that file, an Excel sheet for those interested, you were 32 when you started. Now, the exciting question is, on what number did we end precisely? And to be frank, I'm not fully sure. I would say 29 to 33, maybe 35. I'm not quite sure. So let me explain how that works. Huh? Now, one of you already received a job offer that you really couldn't refuse. That's only after 2 or 3 weeks into the major program. That tells something, no? Then we have another 2 whose interests were sort of like in between the social justice and the social policy major program. And I'm very happy that we managed to accommodate these interests. So you graduate with an individual study program. So our numbers slip a little bit, but you go up, and that's what matters. Now, we also have some expansion happening. That is somebody starting the program in 2013, coming back in 2015, and finishing it successfully. Precisely, that's well done. Then a few other things that explain this variation in numbers, and you got a hint of it already when looking at the slides a little back. Huh? Some of you did an amazing amount of extracurricular activities. I would say certainly, and looking at a BOE, certainly 88 credits worth of mostly travel, international travel, and pretty much more. So these people should not walk out of the door with just 1 degree, but I think a few more. Hence the fluctuation in numbers. Yes, Trish. Now, in terms of nationality, Indonesia, I think, was the biggest demographic. Here again, the numbers are not fully clear. Huh? So 4, but maybe 5, or possibly 6. Yes. Well, I think the jury is still out on that, but that might require some paperwork to be finalized in either Lima or Adelaide. And you know what I'm talking about, right? So the Indonesian students, exciting, and the Indonesian inspired students, exciting also in their research papers. So then I'm really hit by a surprise when we have the new group of students coming into the social policy major, and I see not a single student from Indonesia. What's going wrong here? Now, I went for a swim this morning, and sometimes that clears my mind, sometimes it doesn't. But the best thing I could come up with is this famous theory of I had DWGCS. Yes, that means it has all to do with graduation ceremony speeches. In particularly the pronunciation of names by conveners, which are always tricky. So I've practiced, and I'll do my best, and now we really get into serious matters, that is your degrees. Because there are lots of hard work that's gone into it, and we need to celebrate and reward that. So that's where we go and we roll. Starting with, from Ethiopia. Are we up to speed? Yeah, we are. Hiwot Rode Adebo. Congratulations. Right. From South Africa, we have Maria Gabriela Sperling. From Kenya, we have Stephen Uchembe. And from Peru, we have Cristel Fabiola Avila Ocampo. And again from Kenya, Maurice Oduor Okot. From Bangladesh, we have Mustafiz Ahmed. From Indonesia, number 1, Nurulita Andini Susetyo. And we stay in Indonesia, Sandra Devi Arifiani. From Mozambique, we have Michael Godet Chico Alberto Sambo. Right. From Indonesia, Amalia Puri Handayani. From Pakistan, we have Altaf Hussain. Tamara Lee Magor, Australia. And that's indeed overall distinction, RP distinction. Georgia, Tamar Tatuli Shubabria. From the United States of America, we have Michelle Lisa Montenu. Right, from Uganda, we have Margaret Nakibuka. From Colombia, we have Maria Camila Pacheco Blel. From the Philippines, Camille Rivera. From Uganda, Fiona Nasali. Right, from Nigeria, we have Olajumoke Victoria Bamigboye Hamilton. And we go to Ghana, where we have Mr. Aphis Lormador. Colombia, Paola Andrea Delgado Angel. From Indonesia. Congratulations. I'll read your name as you go. And this is Mardika Shamsul Sajjad with overall distinction and RP distinction. Yes. From Ghana, Gifty Fosua Nuama. From Bolivia, we have Pablo Cespedes Vargas. And we now have from Mexico, Victoria Mesa Servin. And then you think you're there, but you're not. We have another 3 graduating students who weren't here today with us. That's Megan Elizabeth Baker from the United States of America. Olufemi Murph Adenitan from Nigeria. And Mr. George Pager Jacobs from Liberia.
And indeed, that concludes the awarding of the degrees for the Social Policy for Development major. And now, last but not least, the major Economics of Development. And I'd like to call on Dr. Lorenzo Pellegrini, convener of ECD, and the students of ECD.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm Lorenzo Pellegrini. I'm the convener of ECD, Economics of Development. And this year we had the largest batch ever, 49 students. And some of you might have the theory that economics is actually quite difficult, and that might explain why there are so few students there. But actually, we had 28 students enrolled in the double degree. So they are students from Indonesia who studied 1 year at the Universitas Indonesia, and only one of them can be with us today. So I'll mention the name of the ones that are in Indonesia at the end, and I will ask you to give an applause, and it should be a very loud one, because they should hear you in Indonesia. So. Okay, so the first thing we have to disprove is that economics is difficult. I think another theory that people might have is that economics is also boring. And in fact, we had a large batch and we had a very exciting batch. We had a batch that wrote research papers on a variety of topics, on very novel topics. They have done primary research, they collected data themselves. We had topics such as altruistic behavior and what motivates altruistic behavior, and when people behave altruistically with people they don't know, with strangers. We had research papers on what drives people to become hitmen for organized crime in Mexico. So how do you become a sicario, and why, and what do you get out of it? We had research papers on narcotics, anti-narcotics policies in Afghanistan. We had a number of students who went to the field and collected data, primary data. We just had a fantastic group. And I am now disproving the second theory here, right? So economics is not difficult. Economics is not boring. You're not surprised I'm disproving all these theories, because we know that in science you only disprove theories, you never verify and prove them right. And you should be careful with your analytical framework and with drawing conclusions that really leverage on the data and connect to the analytical framework again. And I want to congratulate today all the batch, because they will never hear this anymore. And you will not be obliged to focus, rethink your research question, and you will just move ahead with your life. Congratulations. And let me now call your names. We have from Colombia, Adriana Cristina Peña Ramos. And we have from Indonesia, Sita Cristina. And then we have from Ethiopia, Getachew Vakye Bulcha. We have Shalmith Vanga Mariara from Kenya. And we have Maria Auxiliadora Cisneros Pravia from Nicaragua. Congratulations. And we have Shah Nevaz Khan from Bangladesh. Take it easy, I'm told. And then we have another candidate from Bangladesh who made it, Batkiaruddin. And then we have Sudep Jain that comes from India, got an overall distinction and an RP distinction. Well done. And then we have Shami Pendaeli Chamicha from Tanzania. Congratulations. And then we have Apte Georgis Eyob Isaac from Eritrea. And then we have Rui Alberto Valdez Benavides from Mexico. And from Costa Rica and the United States, Luis Daniel Artavia Mora, who also gets overall distinction and RP distinction. Tumaini Belere from Uganda. Andrew Ohide Lotin Valerio from South Sudan. And we have Sibongile Ndala from Zambia. And Belinda Biri Korang from Ghana. Jackson Bulili Makibia from Tanzania. And Denny Vissaro from Indonesia. He's the double degree student who could make it today. Thank you. Well, we had a mock ceremony, graduation ceremony for the double degree students, and we invited somebody from Indonesia, so I didn't have to pronounce all these names, but I'll do my best now. We have Fadil Fabian Masarapa, Nurlaili Febriayuna, Hamad Rohadi, we have Henry, we have Prahastudi Maharani, who got a RP distinction. We have Ristiana Malik Jania Yaleha, Sunan Sia Falani, Rio Vidianto, Rico Naldi, Aldila Tia Yasari, Nina Restiana Giulianti, Stanley, Astika Tresnavati, Ika Hardina Lubis, Tikanur Pusparani, Desi Marita, Riri Kusuma Permatasari, Desi Wanti Astuti, Medinsa Resa Viriarsa, Bujung Yusuf Vibisono, Radem Pratama, Erika Solutionwati, Marlika Ramdani, and Hami Ardianti. Congratulations.
And that concludes the awarding of the ceremonies, the awarding of the degrees, sorry, to the majors. It was indeed an exceptional year because there were 3 students who, although they obtained the 88 credits that would give them the degree here, decided to keep on studying. They wanted more credits, and they have asked to extend their study program for the coming 3 months to allow them to take another course. That's Chenmai Lee, that's Amartya Gautam, and that's Maria Morit. So maybe an applause. Yes, they could have been here yet. The temperature in the room has risen to the right level, because now we have the item on the program for which quite a number of you have been eagerly awaiting for. It's the awarding of the prize for the best research paper in various categories, including the prize for the RP, which made use of the Indices of Social Development database. And unlike the diplomas you just got, this prize comes with hard cash. This year, the jury who awarded the prize was composed of Professor Inge Hutter, the rector of the ISS, Dr. Sylvia Berg, senior lecturer in development management and governance, and Sandra Rottenberg, who's a critical author and journalist, particularly in areas of development and globalization. And we've invited her to participate in the awarding of the prize, to cast a critical outsider's eye on these ISS products. So I'm very pleased to give the floor to Sylvia Berg, who will read out, to both to Sandra and Sylvia, to both Sandra and Sylvia, who will read out the jury's report.
Thank you very much, Frank. And congratulations to all of you, first of all, on your achievement. I'll start with the prize for the RP that made use of the Indices of Development database. And I'm reading this out on behalf of Professor Irene van Staveren, who couldn't be here today. The jury for this award consisted of Dr. Ellen Webbing of the Central Bureau of Statistics in the Netherlands, and also Professor Irene van Staveren, who is the director of the ISD database and professor here at ISS. So I'll read first about the paper, and then you'll have to guess whose paper it is. The paper starts from a systematic discussion of the literature, very well summarized in a table, providing a thorough theoretical background. It then follows with a clear and suitable methodology, addressing the endogeneity problem with time lags. The estimations are done both with cross-section data and with panel data using 2 ISD indices on trust and civic activism. The results are interesting and innovative. On the one hand, trust does not seem to be as influential for growth as many economists like to think. On the other hand, civic activism seems to have a positive and significant effect on growth, suggesting that a strong and active civil society is not hampering growth, but rather supporting it. This is a well-structured and well-written paper, and it has the title Revisiting the Role of Social Capital in Development, and was written by a student in ECD from Bangladesh, Shahnawaz Khan.
Da kann ja, dummer.
And I should add, this prize comes with a 250 euro cash award as well. Okay, so now we come to the awarding of the 3 best research papers, disregarding of any database you've been using or not. So as already mentioned, the jury was composed by Sandra Rottenberg, who's a well-known journalist and also former board member of SID, the Society for International Development, who some of you, or hopefully many of you know, who are housed in this building. Myself and the director of the ISS, Professor Inge Hatter. The committee received a fair number of nominated papers from the various majors, and we were very impressed with their quality overall. And while initially we thought, how are we going to possibly select the best one? In the end, the committee actually had no doubt about the 3 papers that clearly stood out from the rest in terms of the award criteria. And these criteria included, of course, apart from academic excellence, originality and innovation in terms of both message and choice of topic. And in fact, all 3 winning papers straddle the margins of development studies in the sense that the 2 of the 3 papers are actually set in the Netherlands. And the 3rd one focuses on the interactions between the West and the developing country, the West between quotation marks. So I'm giving you some hints. Unfortunately, actually, the committee did not identify a paper that could meet the criteria for the new Jos Moy Research Paper Award, which is in the field of public policy and development management. So we very much hope that those MA participants of the current batch who are here will feel encouraged and inspired to write your paper in this field so that next year this award can also be given. But now, without further ado, we would like to announce the 3 winners of this year's MA Research Paper Awards, which carries a cash prize of 500 euros. You'll find the cash in the actual folder, so don't be careful with it. And we've divided up the task here between Sandra and myself in terms of reading out very short justifications for why we liked a certain paper. So I'll give the floor to you.
Thank you. Congratulations. It's always such a pleasure to be here. You don't realize how special it is being Dutch in such a colorful society as this one. The first paper explores the behavioral origins of cooperation, applying very innovatively behavioral field experiments in the city of The Hague. The author tries to answer simple but hugely important questions. Why do strangers in a city cooperate and help each other in daily life? Are humans intuitively inclined to help strangers? He conducted the experiment on the walking boards of the Malieveld in The Hague and finds that people in The Hague are more likely to help strangers when they are under time pressure. Conversely, cooperation rates go down when people have time to contemplate. In other words, we are intuitively inclined to help others. The research paper is simple in its design, and simple is meant as a compliment. It is robust and focused. The method of natural experiment, recreating social dilemmas, with the help of an actor, is highly innovative and nicely illustrated in pictures in the paper. A survey is conducted with the participants. Theoretically, the paper is on the crossroads of economics and psychology. And finally, the paper is at the heart of development studies by asking the question, when and why do people cooperate? It would indeed be very interesting to have similar experiments conducted in the South across different stages of development. The jury was impressed by the combination of the out-of-the-box thinking and academic robustness of this research paper. For sure, based on this, it fully deserves this prize. The paper is entitled Intuitive Cooperation in The Hague, a natural field experiment, and was supervised by Matthias Rieger and Arjen Beatty in ECD. And the winner is Louis Artavia from Brussels.
Okay, we move on to the second paper, and probably if I just start the description, you'll probably know whose it is, but never mind. Using the case of Melgar, the location of 2 Colombian military bases with a permanent presence of US military personnel, the author explores the implications of US intervention in the conflict on the daily lives of Colombian women. The paper defies traditional frameworks for analyzing the relationship between women and war, and shows that the experiences of participants are the product of the simultaneous interaction of the international and the local, the north and the south, the material and the emotional, and the private and the public. A variety of ethnographic methods were skillfully applied to bring out the women's informed consent and agency to desire and enjoy their sexuality and make decisions while navigating within the constraints and possibilities of their gendered, militarized, racialized, sexualized, and nationalized realities. And I have to say, this is from the abstract. So you can see how good it is. I couldn't have written it any better, sorry. So the committee was most impressed, this is not from the abstract, with the author's persistence in getting access to relevant women and the way she applied theories on colonialism, sexuality, and militarization in a systematic and elegant way to shift our mindsets. The paper was supervised by one of our best teachers, Dubrovka Sarkov, and Helen Hinchins in SJP, and it's entitled Colombian Women and US Servicemen, Encounters and Experiences from Melgar, Colombia. We congratulate the author, Natalia Lozano.
The third winning paper is the committee's absolute favorite one. It throws up a number of questions. How do we see ourselves? How do we look at somebody else? Along which lines do we divide our society? As we consider ourselves to belong to one group, where do others belong? It is easy to judge over other people, but seldom we dare to ask people how they see themselves. This paper is a real page-turner, beautifully written, well motivated, and demonstrating excellent research skills and an original point of view. The author is greatly aware and ably documenting her own position in the research process and has written up her findings in an unconventional format. This paper therefore serves as a piece for discussion, representing a contemporary answer to the Dutch publicist Paul Scheffer, writer of Het Multiculturele Drama, the multicultural drama, some 10 years ago. The writer blends her personal observation into her research in a self-reflexive way, while using original ways of questioning her participants by, for example, asking them to draw maps of places that were important to them. The writer thus waves 5 essays into a beautiful tapestry, offering us a mirror to look closer at the notion of I versus the other in Dutch society. The paper was supervised by Roy Huismans and Silke Hoijman in SPD, and it's entitled An Auto-Ethnographic Study on Dutch Society, Narratives of Being and Belonging from the Perspectives of Young Allochthone Dutch Muslims. And the author is Mahardika Shamsur.
Just to finish, to conclude, the 3 papers show that the field of development studies is actually extremely useful to analyze social phenomena not only over there, but right here in The Hague and in the Netherlands. The 3 papers also make it clear that understanding emotions and behaviors at the individual level must be the first step if we are to gain a better understanding of political, economic and social dynamics at the societal level. So we learned a lot from reading all these papers, and we congratulate all 3 of you, and we're certain that you will spend the prize money wisely. And we very much look forward to seeing your papers published as ISS working papers, because actually that's, in a way, that is the obligation of the prize, I think. Once you get it, you're also supposed to publish it as an ISS working paper, and I'm sure anybody here will be very happy to, from the staff side, will be very happy to help you get it published. So congratulations again. Yeah.
Now we've come to the end of this part of the ceremony. Before I invite you to move one flight up for well-deserved drinks, an announcement. The book, the first copy of which was handed over by scholars to the rector, is available at the exit of the aula there, but only for students. So all those of you who can show their diploma will get a book. And we only want the ISS diploma, not some old swimming diploma or traffic thing. Let me end by expressing a heartfelt wish that your life's journey from here onwards will be exciting and fulfilling. 12 ISS ambassadors will leave after today and spread the word about the ISS. I almost typed first the gospel, but I thought that would be a bit too much. I hope that all of you will have dear memories about your time at the ISS and about the friendships you made here. I also hope that we're able to stay in touch, the ISS and you. And now let me close this part of the ceremony and invite you all to rejoice in the atrium one flight up. Thank you very much.
পরে ধরতেছি, দাঁড়ান, পরে ধরতেছি। হ্যাঁ,
Shamnaz. And the last award.
For Howard and Laura.
She's staying. She's staying.
Ah, okay. Okay, I'll come with this. I'll come with that. Thank you. There are bands from congratulating students. Well, there was no time that we also very good.
Oh yeah, the picture, the good picture. That's an email.
Alleen zij was echt nu wel alles. Daarom, zij was de enige over.
En die is weggegaan, hè? Ja, waar is ze dan? Dus het is eigenlijk voordat we diploma's nog wel hebben.
Als dat is lekker praten.
Heel goed, heel goed.
Let's go upstairs.
Super.
Kom maar, want dan gaan we een foto maken. But you can stay here, you can stay here.
Okay, thank you.
Ja, hij zit hierin. We're gonna sit
It's in here.
diploma. Want ze gaat nu bij de rector staan.
Thank you so much.
Nee, ze heeft iemand anders gevonden die het maakt. Ja, maar die is denk ik die groepsfoto's gaan maken. En ik heb haar al gegeven die diploma. Ja, ze ging daar, ze stond al met Ingo. Ja, maar ze hebben nog iets anders ertussen. Dat ja, hoorde ik, hij zei het net vanochtend tegen, vanmiddag. Heb je daar een roos gegeven ook? Ja, volgens mij heeft ze even met ja. Oh ja, die heeft ze ook gezien. Ja.